Welcome back, friends of vintage guitar picks. And if you've been following the videos, right now you're straight away familiar with the fact we got some really distinct stuff going on, especially with these tortoise patterns. H&F picks here. H&F stands for Harris Fandel, a Boston-based company. Started business in 1937. They were a musical distributor of musical products. And in the 80s, they dissolved as such as H&F. And today they're simply known as Harris Musical Products. Let's dive right into it. We got 39 picks in 2 distinct logo styles, 12 different shapes, 9 different tortoise styles. And we also are going to take a look at quite a few drum skin guitar picks today. A distinct feature I want to point out about their logo, take a look at that H. That's a capital H, and that F, that's a small f. Now, Harris Fandel are both proper surnames, and why they choose to feature Fandel's name with a small f is unknown, but it is an interesting feature. Normally, we might expect that would have both been uppercase or capital letters, but it isn't. So when I first saw these, I thought H&F meant hi-fi, and boy was I wrong. Glad to have learned about H&F initially from Harry Anderson. He's in the book Picks by Will Hoover, and he's the only person in the book Picks featured front on. You could see Harry's face featuring some of his displays. He's from La Mirada, California. No longer a collector, sold his collection, but he did have a fabulous collection and knew quite a bit about vintage picks himself. Going through these here, we see we have our 4 346s, or rounded triangles, also known as a base shape. Some people call them a wedge, but you can see each one has a different tortoise style. This is a really bursting, nice, deep, rich orange tones here. Same thing with this here. Looking down at the bottom, we have the 351. Again, numerous copies of the 351, but different tortoise styles. And there we showed in blackjack. And I believe I saw a 1967 trademark for that Harris Fandel did back sometime when I was doing trademarks. Moving over here to the 353, few distinct things going on. These 353s here are obviously older, especially these. And just to point out the picks that were older, 1950s, early 60s, here, 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 here. And you can see I'm pointing to all the Coke on ice styles and variations thereof, because they do have permutations. For example, Coke on ice right here, slow gin on ice right here. Some people might call this whiskey on ice. But a variety of tortoise styles here. I really like what I'm looking at. Black gold medium, that was another one of those. So you could see the distinct shapes that are no longer offered up here in the tortoise group. And if I just took away the shapes that are made, it would be these. These shapes continue to be made today, right here, and these. None of these shapes continue to be made today. From here on over, none of those have been made for decades. All DeAndrea made guitar picks for Harris Fandel. And moving down to the Sparkle group here, this is our drum shell group. And what a gorgeous, distinct group we have here. You see I have some same shapes, but different type of sparkle here. You can see one sparkles quite loudly, the other doesn't. In the back, you could see the lamination, white part. Here, I have a misstamp, as you could see, that was misstamped. And here I have some of the flake wearing off on that one, so I've chosen to keep that. This one is particularly distinctive because of the multicolor in there. Probably the prettiest one on the board. And here we have one in white print. Not too easy to see, that white print, but there you have it there. Moving over to here, we actually have a couple of mistakes, no doubt. Because when we turn these over, we see We have the outer part of the drum skin, really nice colors, but it was stamped on the other side. Now, I'm sure they would have wanted their logo to have stood out. Possibly it could have been intentional, but I think it was probably a mistake, because all the others I've ever seen were stamped on the sparkle side. Make note, some of these are bent. If you're a vintage collector, you're going to have to settle with that, because over half of the drum skin picks that you collect are going to be bent, and that's simply because of a different density material between the back of the drum skin and the front of the drum shell skin. So it bends over time. No big deal. A few other things I could say about the Harris Fandel is the distinctive cocoa and ice variations we have here. I'll pull a couple of them out so you could just make note of the highlight right there. Look at that. Now, aren't they pretty? Wow. These two probably the same, but you see you have more dark in this patch here. Probably came from the same type of or block of celluloid. But clearly different, these darker ones from these two here, and certainly this one. So these are our oldest picks on the board. We got a true 358, not a 358 and a half, but a 358 right here. And we have probably a 358. The punch that was made this, though, was probably at the end of its duty cycle. This is much smaller than this one. And it was just time for them to create a new 358 punch, which they undoubtedly did. So familiarize yourself with the shapes if you like. You don't have to, but it'll help you distinguish between 50% of all the vintage picks that were made, or you'll find post-1930, which are DeAndrea, and all the others, 50%, which are not DeAndrea. So I hope you liked the video on Harris Fandel. I sure do like it, or like looking at the picks anyway. Joe Macy, finepick7@yahoo.com. Feel free to rate me. Drop me a line. Be glad to hear from you. Take care. Bye-bye.